Hi, I'm Stephen Adams with Kendon Industries. Today I'm going to show you how to unpack and assemble one of our trailers. It's a pretty easy process, shouldn't take very long, and we'll go through the whole thing from start to finish, show you how it's done. So the unpack and assembly process is pretty easy. You don't need a lot of tools. You're going to need a star wrench, hammer, pair of diagonal cutters, box cutter, a 7/16 inch wrench or a small socket will work, and a torque wrench with a 13/16 inch socket. So the first thing you want to do when the trailer arrives is inspect it for damage. You'll notice we've got a big warning sticker here about inspecting for damage. Inspect for damage before accepting. So before you even accept the shipment and sign the bill of lading, make sure you take a real good look at the trailer, top to bottom, front and back. You're going to want to look for any damage spots, any punctures, any areas, especially in here, that look like they've been rubbing. Check for paint damage. That's where we see any kind of freight damage occur. If you see that, don't sign the bill of lading, refuse it, send it back. So now all the outer wrap is off. We've got several areas that have extra protection on them to keep from freight damage. You're going to want to target those. That you can do carefully with the utility knife, and also you're going to need your diagonal cutters for this. There are some zip ties in certain areas that you're going to need to cut off as well. So we've got three items here: parts box, wheel, and wheel, just held on by extra thick zip ties. Just cut that off. One, two, three. Set your parts box aside. And then the last thing we need to do is cut off the metal banding straps that secure the trailer to the crate. If you've got a pair of metal tin snips, that works pretty well. I think we can also just do it with a pair of dikes here. There's also one metal strap here in the front. Oops. All right, so in order to assemble the wheels, we have to pull the outside board off the crate here. So grab your hammer. Pull that board off. All right, pull this end board off, take a minute, bend the nails over so that they're not in your way. We're going to use this board again in a second, so set it aside. Next we have to take the plastic protection off the fenders. Always when you're using a utility knife, make sure that you're careful not to cut down into the paint. Alright, so now it's time to install the wheels. I told you to hang on to these boards, that we're going to need them in a minute. What we need to do is, there's just not quite enough room here to get the wheels on before you pull it off the crate. So we're going to roll the trailer back a little bit, support it with these boards. The board needs to be upright in its lengthwise position. Just roll the trailer back a little. Recommend to put it on both sides. Just like that. It's nice and stable, shouldn't be a problem. Just get both boards under here so you're supporting the trailer, making enough room. From here, wheels should go on easily. Wheels on. Inside the parts box is going to be your lug nuts. Now both of our wheels are installed and at least snugged up. We want to pull these boards back out. Let the trailer roll down, it'll rest a little bit on the wheels. And now we're going to roll it off the crate and onto the ground. You might want to grab one of those pieces of cardboard you cut off earlier, put underneath the base of the trailer so it's not sitting directly on the ground. Now we're done with the crate. Next step is to install the tail lights. Tail lights are going to be in the parts box. There's a left and a right. Left one has the spot for the tail light, the license plate light. Pull off the nuts on the back of the light. And you'll see here on the top of the light, there's a stop and turn. That's the green wire. Tail, that's the brown wire. These push into the holes here. So the brown on one side, green on the other, and then the white is going to be your ground that gets installed on the stud behind. I'm going to just twist these wires a little bit so they go in properly. Brown on this side. Just push it into the hole. It should grab it and hold. Green on this side. Push it. That's now installed. Feed your wires back through a little bit. Put your loop on the stud. Same process over here, except that you're going to have a yellow and a brown instead of green and brown. Just follow the color coding on the back. Two final steps. One is to install the D-rings. You find these in the parts box. They go on the safety cables. The very last step in the process of assembling your trailer is to torque the lug nuts to 60 foot-pounds. We recommend you attach the trailer to a vehicle so that it can't move around as you're torquing down the wheels, or the lug nuts. So you're going to use your torque wrench set to 60 pounds. Always operate in a star pattern. So same as you would on your car, you're going to want to go from this nut to this one, to this one, to this one, to this one. Do that a couple times to make sure you get even torque and even pull so nothing warps as you tighten them down. We also recommend that after 50 miles you stop and check the torque and retorque them back to 60 pounds, as some things might have settled in the first 50 miles or so. Also, please note the ramp, the loading ramp, is we attach it here only for shipping purposes. That is not where you're going to want to keep the ramp while it's in use. So cut the zip ties off. And now it's going to mount on these two studs right here. Mount up underneath. So make sure you don't go down the road with it zip tied there. You might lose it, do some damage. You don't want that. You should be ready to use your Kendon trailer. So have fun, enjoy, and go ride.